Welcome in to another edition of the Sandlot Dynasty League podcast. It has been a long, long time, but we're here with the Lannis clan. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the trade deadline. We're going to talk about some surprises for us this season. We're going to talk about playoffs and our predictions. And is it a six-horse race? Is it an eight-horse race? We'll kind of talk about that. And then lastly, we'll talk about future lockout potentially and how it's going to impact our fantasy season. But first, it's going to be joined by John and by Preston. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Glad to be, glad to be back on the pod.
Yeah.
So we haven't had a podcast since, and we don't have to spend too much time about this, but we haven't had a podcast since Survivor. So Nate won the second annual Survivor Cup. Did you guys see that coming? What kind of did you guys think Nate was going to win? How did you think that was gonna go?
Well, Nate screwed me. He voted me out. So whatever. I thought I had I actually, last year I stumbled into the final without much of a plan. This year I really did have a plan, and none of it really materialized. Nate could have kicked out anybody else but me, and I almost turned on PB. I kind of saw what was happening to me, maybe, and I thought, man, I could vote PB if Nate voted against me, and we'd be tied. And then I had an extra vote. I thought then I could stick, somebody else, but I didn't do it,
Mhm.
and Nate booted me. So I guess he
Mhm.
knew what he was doing because he won.
Preston, did it surprise you? And I think you got voted out pretty early. So did you even follow it or?
Well, I haven't been on Facebook for like almost 2 years now. So I was just in it because I was in it. I think I was just voting Vanway like the first few weeks that I was in there. I was in
Vanway voted himself out. That week one, Vanway voted himself out.
what?
Yeah, he essentially
Vanway voted
did.
himself out very first week. He
Before
got
we even
nobody to blame
started,
but himself.
he
Yeah.
started complaining. So I think that riled up the group and voted him out. So, and then he got mad. But I digress. So we'll hop on trade deadline. This is kind of the hot topic right now, and we still have a while to go.
Yeah.
As the trade
No,
deadline's not
no
even for
kidding.
another week and a half. So, John, you want to go first? Talk about your strategy, your deadline so far. I know you've made a move, so
I did, but it was because of you and Nate were loading up. It, like you said, still got over a week, uh, and I really hadn't even thought about it a whole lot. And then guys started making moves, which I text you. I'm like, what the hell's going on? We got a long way. You guys trying to get the jump on me, and you were like, well, you're still well within reach of the regular season championship. So you're like, I'm trying to add somebody to maybe get first in the regular season. And then Nate followed right after that, same day, I think, and got Freddie Freeman. And so I felt like maybe I better start looking around. And me and Marcus made a deal. I also lost O'Hearn like a couple days after you guys made those trades. I lost O'Hearn, so I ended up getting Machado from Marcus. Uh,
how did that
I needed
process go?
another bat.
Marcus doesn't make a whole lot of trades. Well, he hasn't lately. But how did that negotiation go with Marcus?
Uh, and I don't remember if I text him or first. I don't even remember, but I told him I was gonna. I think I did text him first and told him I was going to trade a young pitcher just to see if he was interested, and he was. He may have, you know what? I think he texted me like a week before that
Mm.
that he wasn't coming back. He was going to start trading pieces. So uh, ended up trading him Ashcraft, the dude who I did not want to trade. Man, he's been really good. He's been about as good as Skeens for the Pirates, but I'm almost sure they're going to curtail his innings. That's why. That's really the only reason I traded him because I already had him marked as a keeper. But he tailed off a little bit before the All Star break, and I'm sure they're going to shut him down early because they don't care. They're not trying to win. The Pirates aren't. So that's really the only reason he's available. And I thought Machado is a decent guy to get. He hopefully helps me down the stretch, and he's probably a keeper for one more year. I mean, he's 34, I think, so
Mhm.
I get one more year out of him. It'll be all right. And you know me, I probably would never keep more than four starting pitchers anyway. So I'll come up with four pitchers that I want to keep without Ashcraft. So I went from there.
Preston, are you a buyer? Are you a seller? Talk about your trade deadline because I mean, who knows? You've made some moves that could say you're buying, or you could make some moves that could say you're selling. So,
We're going day by day. I've been poking around a little bit. I know you noticed now because you were on the Roto stats the other day. I've been getting boned all year, every week. I is a hot take. I'm a top 5 team, and I'm in 8th, and I think we have 7 guys getting the playoffs, right?
6.
6. So
Yeah.
I think 8 games back with
You are, yeah. You're 8 games back of 6th place.
back with 3 to go. 3, well, counting this week, 3.5 weeks to go. And I've got Hoford, PB, who are sellers that I'm playing, and then Stevie and Barrett, I think, right?
I can
don't know.
check.
I think Stevie and Barrett. Barrett announced he's selling today, right?
No, Joe's Jared.
Jared announced he's selling. He's the 6th place right now, or is he
So Jared's 7th, Logan is 6th.
Logan is 6th?
I thought Logan said he was offering guys up too.
Yeah. Logan said he was.
Did he?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've been poking around.
Someone has to make the playoffs in that 6th spot. So
Yeah,
Right.
6, 7, 8. Somebody's got to be 6.
If I was,
press,
if I got in at
press.
6, I think I'm the best 6th team to get in.
You have, so there's, including this week, you have 4 matchups. So this week you're playing Clayton. Next week you have Stevie. The following week you have Nate. And the following week you have PB.
It will largely depend on how this week goes.
Yeah.
And then I'll have 5 days before the deadline, so I got plenty of time to flip one way or the other.
Yeah, you got time. But I didn't know, like, you're kind of in that middle spot where
Yeah.
if you miss the playoffs, it's like you're mid-round pick, so it doesn't even, so you might as well go for it. And with everyone else being sellers, then it's just kind of interesting because Jared said today that everyone he had was available except for PCA, and he's 2 games back of playoffs.
And he traded Hap today.
Yeah.
I took Hap, yeah. So
I was surprised to see that Jared makes 1 or 2 trades a year, and then now he's in a playoff spot, or he's in 7th, but he's within reach. He's like everybody's available. So, you never know. You might think you're selling, make a couple trades, it can give you a couple good weeks, and you're right back in the 6th spot or something. Who knows?
Like the Tigers a couple of years ago, they sold off all those guys and ended up making the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Preston, if you win big this week, like you're right there and just need something to go your way. Like you could have a 12-0 week somehow. Like it's just how it works. We'll kind of transition out of the trade deadline to so far. What has been the biggest surprise to you guys this year? It could be individual performances on your team performances in the league. Kind of what's been the biggest surprise? Maybe a trade, but what's been the biggest surprise to you guys?
That's Nate. Nate is the biggest surprise. Nate's team.
Yeah,
I think came on the group message today and said he said Nate was going to finish last. I don't remember if I ever said he was last, but I'm pretty sure I said Nate's not going to be a playoff team.
Yeah,
and he obviously is now. He's solidly a playoff team. Shocked the hell out of me.
He had nearly no picks in like the first 5-6 rounds. Yeah,
he was trading up in like the 16th round,
right.
or I remember the 15th round to get picks.
Just sat there for the longest time, and then he started trading up picks toward the end.
Yeah, I think if we had to give like a GM of the year, he would definitely be in contention for it because nobody knew. Nobody knew. Yeah, he was going to have that type of year. I think another one for me, and it's not, I guess, a surprise, but this could be another year if like all the guys who have won a title before, except for me and John, are at the bottom and not in the playoff race, like Clayton, Marcus, and Vanway. Like those guys are not going to make the playoffs. So could this be a year where another team who's not won it wins it? And could be a surprise. So it looks like me and John have locked down the 1 and 2 seed. That's pretty, unless something crazy happens, we're going to get the buys. So there's, I guess, a 50-50 chance that we make it to the playoffs or to the championship game. But so we'll kind of see how that goes. But
I would say Vanway being so bad is kind of a surprise too. I mean, we
Mhm.
like to slam on him a little bit, but I mean, he won last year, so I would have expected him to at least be a playoff team this year, and it just hasn't worked out for him. And now he's dumping players. So if you're not a playoff team, it doesn't really matter if you're seventh or 12th. But
What was
he's
his what was his big pre-draft move? Something with, was it bets?
well,
he
he
gave
didn't have
bets
any
to
draft picks,
Logan.
and yeah, for draft picks, a lot of
Yeah,
them too.
Yeah.
I'm still
yeah,
kind of mad about that
Yeah.
because I was mad that day because we had him by the balls. That's what I said.
we
Vanway,
did.
his keepers were old and not that great, and he had almost no picks and unloaded bets to Barrett for a bunch of picks. I don't know, and it ended up, like I said, he got off to a bad start and just couldn't recover. But so it could have been worse. He could have been, he was hanging around for a while, but he's not now.
Yeah, I think there's a world where he could finish last because his lineup right now is a bunch of guys that are he's hoping they perform so he can keep them. He has
Yeah,
a guy from the Old Testament called Abimelech Ortiz. You guys heard of him?
who
Pretty
in the
sure he's
hell is
straight
that?
out
What?
of
David
he's on
Ortiz.
his
No, yeah,
Abimelech,
he's
literally
still
straight.
Was he a,
He's from the
was he a
Nats.
prophet? Was he an Old Testament prophet?
He
Abilene.
was, yeah. It's spelled like Abimelech. I don't know how you actually say it.
I think it's, I don't know.
Seriously though, who in the hell is that? I've never heard of. Is he
I
a
don't know.
top?
Lane
He
Thomas
just come
is
up? Or,
he's starting Lane Thomas. He's starting the Abimelech guy. He's starting Hector Rodriguez from the Reds. He's struggling. So his catcher, yeah,
well, I'd
he's
be
trying to
glad
get
to
rid
help
of.
him, but he's not gonna trade me anybody because he doesn't want me to win again, and just like he doesn't want Gumby to win again. So
Yep.
he keeps offering me injured list guys.
He was trying to get Chris Sale from me a while back, which really confused me.
What was how'd that negotiation go? Who do you want? Who was he going
He
to
never,
give up?
never got that far. He just said I had to get something out of Sale while I could. And I was like, I'm playing better than you, and I'm 2 games behind you. You're not going to get anything more out of Sale unless he was just going to retrade him this year.
Um, I forgot to ask this earlier. Nate asked us this question in the chat. You don't have to necessarily answer to give away your strategy, but who's a player that you want to trade on your team right now, and who's someone you want to acquire? And he said realistic people. So who's someone you would be, and you can tell the league this that they're open for a shop. Who's someone that you would say is on your trading block?
I'll go first. If I mean, my roster is in pretty good shape. I got Machado, and I wanted to get another closer. And when Preston and I were riding in the car together, when Van Way was simping after Judge, he's like, "Oh, he's offering me Bednar. I don't need him because Preston's not doing any closer." And I'm like, "Well, you get Bednar." I said, "I'll give you something for Bednar." I thought I needed one more closer. Uh, but my roster's in pretty good shape. I got one reliable starting pitcher. Soroka might be back by the end of this week. I got Palencia, one good relief pitcher. Maybe he'll be back next week. I may end up trading like Rebelski or one of my other young pitchers, just because I think they might get an innings cap or something. I don't know. And the Dodgers have they just sent down Sheehan.
15.
He, yeah, they got just a boatload of starting pitchers. So he's a keeper. I mean, he's probably 80 something% owned, and he made the All Star team. He's been really good.
Mhm.
So I might trade one more pitcher. I wouldn't maybe mind adding one more bat. I don't think O'Hearn's gonna be back until maybe very late. So I don't think I can count on him. So I might look to add one more bat, maybe one more veteran pitcher, and I would probably move a young pitcher, maybe a young hitter, Jacob Wilson or somebody I'd kind of offered around. But other than that, I feel like my roster's pretty good. But
And I do.
but if everybody else is making moves, like I said, the only reason I traded for Machado now is because you and Nate are beefing up a little bit, and kind of doesn't leave you any choice. You got to do something, even when things are going good. You got to be looking to get a little better.
And I think so. I think there's a strategy in having at least one roster spot that's
Yeah,
flexible. Jeez, to where like in the playoffs you can stream pitchers, or you can get a reliever without like dropping someone who's valuable. Like there's always you need to have that one slot that you're like, all right, I'm gonna go pick up the starter pitcher, and if he throws 4 innings and has a couple Ks, that's all I need. So, Preston, you got anyone on your trade block? You still trying to make some moves or?
If anybody for some strange reason just wanted to take a chance on Pepio, been out for the year, I'd give him away for anything that I can use now. Depending on how this week goes against Hoford, I have Basayo and Jensen. One of those guys, they both have 20 home runs, maybe 60 RBIs as rookies, and Adley's gone out of Baltimore now. I had somebody, hey, if this week goes real well, Kurtz is on the table. If I can nail my place for the most part in the playoffs this year, Kurtz is hurt and won for his last 36 because he was hurt. I would take a lot. It still wouldn't be cheap, but if I was going to try and push, then he's out there.
Okay, that would be a big piece to do right before the deadline. But speaking of playoffs, if you do make that push, kind of what's your guys' prediction on the playoffs? Like right now, it's probably a 7 to 8 team race with Preston. I mean, you're only 8 games back to sixth place. Like that's
Yeah.
not a crazy number.
I need Daughtry and Barrett to sell harder.
Yeah,
I need to keep playing well.
And you have.
I'll tell you. I'll give you a little hot take. I kind of think Luke. Nobody's talking about Luke, making the championship game, so he's kind of my dark horse. He's been sitting there pretty much in fourth for a while. I liked his team before the season. He hasn't made. I don't think he's made a couple of minor trades, I think, or something. But he already has a hell of a roster, and they're young too. Got a lot of good young outfielders. He's kind of my dark horse pick to maybe play for the championship because nobody's really talking about him. They're talking about me and you and Nate, but Luke's been right there the whole entire season.
I think Stevie too is good, and I would hate it would be good for us and bad for them, but have Luke and Stevie face in that first round matchup, that knocks off a championship team.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea.
Helps us.
Yeah.
But if like right now you're dominating Nate and Luke is tied or he's close with Jared. So if he's only 1 game back at third place. So if he gets that third place spot, that'd be big for him to play the 6th seed, whether it's Preston or Jared or Logan, instead of Stevie, because Stevie's someone who I probably wouldn't want to play first round.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Preston, what's the number this week? Let's say you gain 1 category, so you're 7 back. Like, what's the number where you're saying I'm buying or I'm selling? Oh, Preston's out. All right. So there he's back. Can you hear us, Preston? Any luck?
We lose him?
Yeah, he's joining back though. I thought that was a ski at first, John. It's gonna be Yingling.
I bought this in Evansville. I don't think you can buy it around here. You ever see Jaws?
Yeah.
The movie Jaws?
It's been a
Captain
while.
Quint. That's what Captain Quint's drinking. Narragansett. It's an East Coast thing.
Evansville has all the good stuff.
Yeah. They get all the East Coast beers that don't quite make it out here to the deeper end of the Midwest. It's a pound or two, 16-ouncer.
All right, Preston. So the question I have for you is, what's your number that if you get to the end of this week, you're gonna be like, all right, I'm buying, I'm going all in, or I'm selling, and I'm gonna just say I'm just gonna sell and see if I can get some prospects or some good picks
Like how many games back would I need to be
of sixth place. Yeah,
of sixth?
yeah, because I think fifth place is out of reach. You're
Yeah.
15 games back out of fifth, so
Um, I would say five, unless it is six and like Jared or Logan have just sold hard within like the last day or two. I think I can make six on them in the next 3 weeks.
yeah, I'm curious to see how that goes. And then lastly, I mean, I feel like every year we have a lot of teams that are really close to the playoffs. And this year, I feel like this is like the first year truly we've had, like, I feel like last year there were 10 teams that could have made the playoffs if things went their
I
way
agree.
towards the end. I feel like it's usually like that, but this year it's been pretty set where the top four or the top five have really not changed most of the year. It's been John, myself, Nate, Luke, and Stevie. Like those have like stayed rock solid, and that sixth spot has kind of fluctuated. So it's been interesting. It'd be funny if that six team snuck in and somehow won, or like at least like made like a deep run to the championship game.
It it is different this year. You're right. If I'm not mistaken, I think Nate and Clayton both fell out of the playoffs last year in that last week, didn't they? And Stevie and I jumped in.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think me and Stevie were tied, or maybe Stevie was in sixth, and but I think me and Stevie were tied, and we both jumped in on that last week, and Nathan and Clayton fell out. I think's how it went. I was playing
yeah.
Clayton, and I had a really good week, like 10-2 or something, and I needed every bit of it to sneak into the playoffs last year. So
It seems like that happens. Like the year that Clayton won, I lost by a half game to you. I
yeah,
think you got second,
the
and I
bye.
was
Yeah, I got the
third, and
bye.
I needed the bye, and I had to play Clayton first round, which didn't matter because he ended up beating both of us. But it's just it always comes down to like a half game, I swear. Um, then the last thing we can kind of discuss is the lockout. Do you guys think there's going to be a lockout next year?
It's not looking good, I can tell you that. Which I've seen a lot of labor stoppages in baseball. There's going to be a lot of rhetoric, a lot of nonsense, but I kind of get the feeling that the owners are a little more serious. I mean, every other major sports league now has a salary cap,
Hmm.
except Major League Baseball. They're the last holdout, and that makes me kind of think that the owners, as dumb as they are maybe really really going to stick to their guns this time and do it and go for it. And man, I don't think the players union, for sounding like the old guy in the league here, which I guess I am, but all my life the Major League Players Association has been the strongest sports league by far and away. There's no comparison, and I don't think they're going to accept it. They're not. I just don't think they will. So, and I don't know if there's no baseball next year. It's shaping up to be the worst year of my life. I know that, man.
Yep.
It's a big deal for me. I love it. I always have, just listening to games, and I don't go to many games anymore. But fantasy baseball, it's going to suck, but it almost looks inevitable. There's so much money at stake that you think, surely all these guys are not that dumb. They can figure out how to divide this money up,
Yeah.
because they're all just God dang it, Major League Baseball teams. So they're printing money, man. They are.
Yeah.
That always aggravates me. The Cardinals, they cry poor. Well, we can't do this. We can't develop players and sign free agents. And bullshit. You can. You're printing money over there. You like that ballpark village. They don't even count that revenue as like team revenue. That's a separate thing. Well, whatever. But you got the money. You're printing money. I can't believe they'd let that go away. But man,
Hmm.
it doesn't look good.
No, Preston, what do you think?
I think the Dodgers getting Skubal was the nail in the coffin for there's going to be a holdout for some extent to start the spring.
I'm curious. to so last time the lockout was that 2021 that there was that little lockout before the season started.
I don't remember the
There's,
Yeah,
year, but yeah,
I think
but like
so.
they
Right.
missed,
COVID season.
yeah, so they missed the spring training games, and then like we started like a half a month late. Like I just want games next year. I don't want to miss the whole season. And what makes me mad is when like the MLB Players Union or the owners like try to market themselves and try to get the fans on their side. I
Yeah.
personally don't really care. I don't care if we have a salary cap or if we don't. I want games played. And like people, talk about the Dodgers uh like, overspending, but the teams that don't spend, like they're just as much at fault because there needs to be like a balance to where like the Pirates, they never spend or like who's another team that like the Rockies, like they never like those teams never try to win. At least the Dodgers try to win and sign these players, but I'm kind of curious how long it'll last if it does. And whenever there's a paycheck missed by the players or the owners, if that changes anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm with you, John. Like the Cardinals have been bad every bit of 2020, the 2020 decade so far, except for 2022. That was a
yeah,
really fun year with Pujols. I still look forward to watching the Cardinals every night. Like it's just
yeah.
that's what you do in the summer. You watch baseball, you listen to it while you're mowing, while you're grilling, while you're outside, you listen to a baseball game. And if we don't have it next year, I think one, baseball has a lot of momentum going with like I think the pitch clock was one of the best things that baseball has ever done. I know there have been fans start watching baseball because of the pitch clock and how it sped the game up, and like I think baseball has gained a lot of momentum, and the talent is the best it's been in a long time too. And now to have a lockout, I think that would just negate every piece of momentum. Unfortunately, that the league has kind of had turning along here. So I'll be really sad
I
if there is
agree,
a
man.
lockout, but
I could talk about this all night. We could do the whole, a whole damn podcast about it. I, like I said, I think they're stupid. I don't think they're taking everything into account
yeah.
because there's been work stoppages in the past.
Mhm.
I mean, you guys don't remember it. Well, maybe you don't remember it, but there was no World Series in '94, but that was a lockout player. I don't even remember if it was a lockout or a strike after the All Star break, and I don't even remember what the hell the main points of contention were if
Mhm.
they were trying to get a salary cap then. But that's been so. What's that been? 30 years ago. More now, a little more than that. They're running the risk of losing young fans. They really are.
Mhm.
People have a ton of options. Not everybody, like I said, I'm the old dude, but you guys are all baseball guys, the younger guys, but not everybody is. And if you lose a season, people are going to find other shit to do. They're going to find other interests. They're going to rediscover shit that they used to do. And baseball really runs the risk of losing, maybe even a generation of fans.
Yeah.
It would take a long damn time. We're not going to come into another steroid era. Everybody says McGuire and Sosa kind of brought baseball back from that '94 strike. What would happen now to bring it back? I don't think that's going to happen again.
Chandler
So who
Simpson
knows?
steals 900 bases.
Yeah, I don't know if they're willing to run that risk. I'm already making a lot of money, but man, I could, look how much more money I can make. I don't know if they would
Yeah.
run that risk or not. They're dumb enough to do it, I think, because I don't have faith in cooler heads prevail. They're all dumb.
What do
And
you
I
But who
think?
think,
knows?
Go ahead.
no, you got it.
Do you think they'll have anything to say about the deferment, like Otani's contract?
I mean, yeah. But that's different. That's different than I
Yeah,
think the salary cap is the thing.
Yeah.
sure, but that's
If
a
they
salary
want to, if
cap
they
too.
want to, if they want to, say, hey, this deferment stuff's bullshit. We want to cut that out. All right. I feel like that's something that they can negotiate. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Maybe we can get rid of that. Although that's not a new thing.
No,
Every year on our Facebook page, me or somebody always posts Bobby Bonilla Day in there.
Yeah.
That guy's still getting $1 million on July 1st every year, and still got it coming for another decade or something. He may not even live to see the end of it. So that's not a new thing. It's just gotten bigger. Uh, and I'm a Dodgers hater going way back, but the Dodgers aren't that much of a problem. They gave up 3 prospects to get Scooble. Any team could have done that. They really
Yeah.
could. Uh,
John, how similar? So, like, I was very little, but how similar is this Dodgers team to the early 2000s Yankees team? Like, do you see a lot of
yeah,
similarities? Like, they just bought everyone,
it,
and
it, it goes even farther back than that. When free agency in the overall picture is not a new thing. The Yankees have been doing that for 50 freaking years. You know what I mean? The Yankees been signing guys, buying championships. They say for in the 1970s, the late 1970s and into the 80s. So yeah, it's similar. It's just everything's bigger now. There's more money involved. The more money that becomes involved, the bigger the problems, I guess. But it's similar. The Yankees were doing it then, the Dodgers are doing it now. But the thing is, you mentioned the Pirates and the Rockies, and the Reds are another one. That's why I finally
yeah,
cut loose
Yeah.
Noel V. Marte because I was just tired of their crap. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no
no,
player development. Uh, me and Preston talked about that this weekend. The Reds have like 3 everyday players, and everybody else plays 3 days a week or something. How the hell can you have a Red on your fantasy team? If it's one of them 2 or 3 guys, he's got Sal Stewart. He plays every day. They don't know what they're doing. The Rays have proven that you do not have to have a
Mhm.
huge payroll to compete every year. That's just one example. The Rays, and they don't even have any fans. I mean, somebody was there.
No,
Who was there? Were you there? And you
it
were in
was
Texas.
PB. It
Somebody was there.
was
Yeah,
PB. Yeah,
yeah. That's not a bad experience. We went there, uh, and it was a lot better than I expected. It was a pretty good game day experience. But the Yankees were in town. Everybody was cheering for the Yankees. They had a big crowd, but it can be done if you have good baseball personnel, making good decisions and stuff. But like I said, I don't know what you do for teams like the Pirates and the Reds
Mm-mm.
and the Rockies because they don't even seem interested in competing. They just want to cash a check. Well, they're cashing a good check, so I guess they think they can cash more. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know what
I
the
think
answer is there. A lot of people have
they're
talked about a salary floor,
yeah.
and that might be a good first step, but I don't think that solves all the problems because that's kind of been tried before with the luxury tax and stuff. So I don't know.
I think those teams
Some
hurt
people you can't help.
baseball.
It's like some people
Yeah,
with problems. Some people don't want to solve their problems.
yeah.
And I think this is kind of a microcosm of life. You can't help somebody that doesn't want to help themselves. Well, what do you do for those franchises? I don't know.
They hurt baseball more than the
They
Dodgers
do.
do,
I agree.
and that's what people don't
So
realize.
to double down on your Rays too, they have a decent farm system, I think. But even when that falls to the floor, like when Wander Franco gets thrown in a Dominican
Yeah,
prison,
yeah. That's a huge blow to them and me.
yeah, but they didn't really dip there, did they?
No, not
No,
really.
I mean
But
they're the
that's about the
best
time
team.
that Caminero they called Caminero up a year early. Well, he was a freaking home run champ last year or whatever. He hit 50, 40 something home runs. So yeah, it can be done if you know what you're doing, but some of those teams simply do not.
No, and I want to say like next year, just for our fantasy purposes, if there are games played, we're gonna have a season. I don't want to go a whole summer without fantasy. But the drafts will be announced. Like if they announce that games are gonna be played on July 1st, we'll have our draft before then, and then we'll have our keeper deadline like 2 weeks before the the draft. But like if there are gonna be games played, like we're gonna have a season. It'll be a shortened season if that's better than nothing. So uh just
Marcus will
kind
have a
of
chance again.
yeah, Marcus can win the two
Marcus
short
will have a chance
seasons.
to win another small trophy.
Well, that kind of wraps everything up. So, do you guys have anything else you want to mention before we get off? Or
The trade deadline came early. Things are heating up. Uh, not going to wait too long. There's not going to be anybody left to trade for. Hell, keep getting trades all week. So it's going to be interesting. Somebody's going to slip into that 6th spot. Uh, I know Van Way's not going to be a playoff team, but the league's more interesting when Van Way's active, making trades and talking shit on you. You got a little salty today about the win percentage and stuff. So, yeah, I'm having fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm wanting to become a 2-time champ too, but we'll see. Guys ain't gonna make it easy.
I can't say anything about the history of the league. I was just trying to say, like,
Yeah,
we could see a historic season. Like, I was just
it was
saying,
pretty.
like, all right, yeah, I was
It
just
was a
saying we
pretty
could have,
innocent comment. Just came in, and all
yeah.
of a sudden, somebody, you just it's like you woke Vanway up. Here he comes. Brought
Family,
brought the shade.
All of his text was not. People do talk about the 70 win Warriors as well, fairly often.
Yeah,
Like,
I
yeah,
kind of think that. I feel like they do. Yeah. Who's the
yeah,
second man to walk on the moon? Well, nobody talks about. Well, it's Buzz Aldrin. He's a pretty big deal. People still talk about Buzz Aldrin. So, but yeah. But like I said, when Vanway's active in the league, it's a lot more interesting. So,
yeah. And we'll see how this shakes down. Hopefully, we can have another podcast um, here soon and have a couple more playoff edition ones, and we'll kind of go from there. But thank you guys for listening, and let us know if you liked it. If anything you want to say, just let me know. But it was good to get back on here and kind of talk some ball. So with that being said, we'll see you guys later.